Welcome. It's your friendly neighborhood Badger here. Boy, there's way too much content to cover. You can tell I'm probably excited with the amount of content I'm releasing, but today we're talking about Gravebind. Now, Gravebind are some unique Hydra scale gauntlets that Path of Exile has teased on their Twitter, and they look pretty insane. I'm going to go over exactly how these gauntlets work because they have some pretty severe implications for a lot of types of builds if they work exactly how we think they do. So first of all, Gravebind Hydra scale gauntlets. They are armor evasion based. They've got increased armor evasion, kind of boring. Chaos res, Chaos res is alright on a character. They have 21 life gained on kill, which is kind of nice for the next line. This is a line that we've never seen in the game before, and it has a keyword in here that we've never seen in the game. That keyword is anyone. It states nearby enemies killed by anyone count as being killed by you instead. Now, these gloves kind of have two levels to them. The first one is that anyone. What exactly does it mean? We can basically think that anyone obviously means yourself, means your party members, probably means your minions, but then to a further extent, that could also mean your mines, your traps, your totems, anything that kills anything in the game could be attributed to anyone. Now, whether a mine or a trap is a one of this anyone, we don't quite know. This can also mean that potentially, in very strange cases like lab traps killing enemies could be attributed to you as well. It basically could mean anything that dies nearby is attributed to you, but we're not really sure right now if that's exactly how it works. We're going to move forward and experiment with the generic ones of like yourself, your party members, and your minions, which are probably the way that these gloves are going to be used the most. Now, the first one that I want to talk about is Yorhast's Blacksteel. Now, Yorhast's Blacksteel is a two-handed mace that a lot of people don't really know about because no one ever uses it, because it's really hard to use, because it is a two-handed mace on a build that you probably want to scale minions. Because it has a line that says 25% chance to trigger level 20 animate weapon on kill. And then, you know, it's just got a bunch of fizz damage, attack speed, cast speed, less animate weapon duration, and weapons you animate create an additional copy. So this basically means that 25% chance to trigger 2 animate weapons when you kill an enemy. Now with these gloves, this would mean you've got a self-sustaining loop. A self-sustaining loop that in Path of Exile, the GGG has tried to nullify these self-sustaining loops many, many times over, and it seems like they're just giving it straight back to us. If you were to wear Gravebind gloves and also use Yorhast's Blacksteel, all you have to do is spawn one animate weapon, or any sort of minion, have that animate weapon kill a few enemies, to then trigger an animate weapon on kill if you are nearby that animate weapon killing another enemy. So what this means is just as long as you move with your animate weapon pack, any enemy that the animate weapon kills and then summons animate weapons means that, you just basically walk through the map. This is really, really cool. I don't know exactly how it's going to work with chains of command. Potentially if you gave the gloves to your animate guardian, and then you had chains of command on that animate guardian, and then potentially even the animate guardian had a Yorhast's Blacksteel. You had the gloves and a Yorhast's Blacksteel. Does that mean the kills are attributed both to you and your animate guardian, and you spawn hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of animate weapons? I don't know. Imagine a party of 6 people with 6 Yorhasts. Does that work? We don't quite know, but it could be absolutely hilarious if it does. The next thing that you can do, obviously, item quantity, stacking up a ton of item quantity on your character, and then equipping the gloves means that you could party with someone else who has DPS. They don't need to worry about item quantity, they don't need to worry about culling or anything like that, because traditionally, if you're stacking item quantity, you also want to be the one killing the monsters, so you need some sort of culling, and you need to make sure that your allies don't kill those monsters, but still deal most of the damage, because you're not going to have any damage, because you've got quantity gear on. This solves so much of a problem because all you have to do as a quantity bot, as I call them, is just chuck on potentially a Greed's Embrace, you know, Gold Worm on your character, and then the gloves themselves, you might miss out on a little bit of quant not having quant gloves, but you just have to walk around when the enemies die near you. They'll be attributed to you, therefore it will drop the increased item rarity and quantity gear on the ground. There are also other things like gaining on kill, any sort of life gain on kill, mana gained on kill, anything like that. Things like Spore Guard, things like explosion chests, gladiator pops, other things. Well, gladiator pops are a bit difficult because they have to be bleeding, but other things like occultist pops. But you can very much think that probably explosion type mechanics are going to be really, really strong with this. That'll be pretty cool. Other things like, Victario's Charity. 10% chance to grant a frenzy charge to nearby allies on hit. Doesn't really matter too much, but grant power charge to nearby allies on kill right here. Could very much mean that you could do some funky shenanigans with having a Victario's Charity and the gloves on an Animate Guardian, and you're playing something like Discharge. You kill mobs. The Animate Guardian then generates all of your power charges right back to you, and you just discharge again if you kill that pack. Or lots of other interesting things right there. It's got a lot of implications. However, there's one thing that we do need to talk about, and that is the word nearby. Path of Exile has a little bit of a reputation for this word, I would say, because nearby means so many different things. Nearby could mean literally side by side and no further, or it could mean off screen. And we're just going to quickly talk about that as well, because this does have a potential downside or implication to the gloves, depending on how large that radius actually is. I know a lot of people are talking about that here. Ziz says, I really wish I knew what nearby meant. These look great. Petition to change nearby to the radius of the AoE instead. And I very much agree. If anyone from GGG is watching this, please bring it up again. Nearby sucks. It's so unintuitive, especially for new players, and that's what I'm all about here. So, if we could have some sort of indication of the radius of that, that would be pretty darn awesome. But yes, distance. Nearby, if you actually go to the distance page on the wiki, now this wiki can be a little bit outdated sometimes, so the values might not be 100% correct, but it'll give you a good indication. If I search nearby here, we can see that at 25 units, we start seeing the definition of nearby on the belt of the Deceiver. Now, 25 units is this much right here that I've got in Photoshop. So look, it's not very much, is it? It's 10, 20, 25 of the radius right there. So you practically do have to be standing next to the enemy for the effect to proc. Now, if this was on our gloves, our Gravebind gloves, that would not be very fun. We would basically have to go up and try and give the enemies a little bit of a smooch, so they would kindly attribute their death to ourselves, so we could, increase our death count. However, I don't think they're going to be 25. However, I also don't think they're going to be the highest that we do have potentially in the game right now, which is Conduit. Now, Conduit is 120 units. 120 units is practically off-screen. If we have a look here, this is a 1080p, so, standard screen. You've got each of these lines is 10, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Basically, complete screen coverage of Conduit right there. So, if the gloves have Conduit AoE of nearby, then they will be headhunter levels of viability in a lot of different cases, because, look, I'm not super smart, but some people in the community are crazy smart. I think there's going to be some broken stuff happening with this. It really all comes down to two things. Number one, as we did state at the start, what anyone means. If that is literally an enemy dying near you in any way, that's just bonkers. If it is still only just like minions and you and your allies or anything like that, that's also pretty bonkers. If it's only you and your allies, still pretty good for things like Magic Find, but also not as amazing. So we really will have to wait and see what these gloves will bring to us. And the second thing is, obviously, we just talked about at the end there, what nearby is for these gloves. I would say if it's anything between 50 and 100 or above, then these gloves are going to be really, really awesome. If it's lower than 50, things will start to feel a little bit rough on these gloves right here. We can very much see in the distance, you can mostly see, most of the stuff is between like 35 and 70, 75 units right here. So if it's higher up in terms of like the Leercast and Dying Breath, which is, 75 units, fairly okay. If we just quickly jump back right here and have a look at 75, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 75, it's you know, basically left, right, full screen coverage right there. So honestly, really, really good. We'll have to wait and see, but that's all I really have to say on these gloves here. Once again, I'm going to be producing a ton more content. So if you are enjoying the content in any way, shape or form, please remember to hit that sub button down below. I want to hit 50K by the end of this league. So 3 months time, 50K, we can do it, right? We're close to 40K now. If you want to help me out, that would be awesome. Hit the like button. Share it around to your friends, and I'll catch you on the next video. Catch you on stream. I don't know. Whatever. I'll see you around. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, Badger is out.